Let's get right into it. Number 7. Burned the winning ticket. Imagine beating odds so ridiculous that you're more likely to get struck by lightning several times than win the lottery, and then immediately turning the winning ticket into barbecue fuel. That actually happened. One lottery winner tossed a stack of old receipts and papers into a fire without checking them first. Hidden somewhere in that pile was the ticket worth millions. By the time the realization hit, the ticket had already completed its transformation into expensive ash. Lottery companies aren't exactly known for taking people's word for it. Walking into their office and saying, "Trust me, it was definitely the winning ticket," works about as well as telling airport security you forgot you packed a chainsaw. A lottery ticket is basically a tiny piece of paper that temporarily becomes more valuable than a mansion, but your brain doesn't naturally treat it that way because, until the numbers are announced, it looks identical to every losing ticket you've ever bought. Psychologists call this normalcy bias. Your brain assumes ordinary things are ordinary. Then reality suddenly upgrades that crumpled paper into life-changing wealth. Unfortunately, the fireplace doesn't care. Fire is incredibly fair. It'll happily burn yesterday's grocery list and tomorrow's millionaire status with the exact same enthusiasm. Basically, this person's retirement plan became smoke before they even knew they had one. Number 6. The guy who lost it at a strip club. Picture this. You win millions of dollars, and your brain immediately treats it like Monopoly money. That's basically what happened to a British construction worker who scooped up a jackpot worth nearly £10 million and decided the smartest move was becoming a regular at strip clubs, sometimes dropping thousands in a single night like he was feeding a vending machine. Within a few years, the money was gone, and he was back to manual labor, except now with a much sadder personal narrative to tell his coworkers. Psychologically, this is a textbook case of what researchers call sudden wealth syndrome, where your brain, which evolved to handle scarcity and small rewards, gets absolutely obliterated by a lump sum it has no framework for processing. Your dopamine system starts treating every purchase like a slot machine pull, and impulse control basically logs off for an extended vacation. Add in zero financial literacy and a sudden influx of friends, and you've got a financial house fire waiting for a match. The lottery didn't just fail to fix his problems, it gave his problems a bigger budget. Basically, his bank account experienced the fastest rags to rags cycle since ancient Rome, except with more glitter and worse decision-making. Number 5. The man who announced his numbers early. Imagine winning a huge jackpot and then immediately blabbing your numbers to a stranger before the drawing even happened. That's exactly what one lottery player did, casually mentioning his lucky combination to an acquaintance days before the draw, not realizing that acquaintance would go on to also play those same numbers and split the prize when they both hit. Suddenly, a jackpot that could have been a life-changing solo win got sliced in half because of one loose-lipped moment at a bar. This is a beautiful, painful example of a psychological quirk called loose-lip bias, where humans are wired to share information as a social bonding tool, even when logic screams at us to shut up. Your brain treats secrets like hot coals, uncomfortable to hold, satisfying to drop. Add a little alcohol and some excitement, and confidentiality becomes a joke your nervous system refuses to take seriously. Financial windfalls make people chatty, because bragging activates the same reward circuits as the win itself. Basically, his mouth wrote a check, his wallet then had to split evenly with a guy he barely knew. Turns out the real lottery skill isn't picking numbers, it's picking who you don't tell. Number 4. The woman who threw away the ticket. You ever throw something away, then 5 minutes later feel that gut drop of, wait, was that important? Now multiply that feeling by several $100,000. A Michigan woman did exactly this, tossing what she thought was a losing ticket into the trash, only to realize days later it was actually a massive winner sitting in a landfill somewhere, slowly decomposing next to banana peels and yesterday's cereal box. This is your brain's pattern-matching system failing spectacularly. We're wired to quickly sort information into keep or discard piles based on shallow, fast impressions, a mental shortcut called heuristic processing that usually saves us time and occasionally destroys our lives. A crumpled ticket looks like garbage, so your brain files it under garbage, no further questions asked. There's no deep analysis happening in that half-second decision, just pure autopilot. It's the same reason you've probably donated a jacket with cash still in the pocket. Except this wasn't $20, it was a fortune, sitting in a dump, being slowly claimed by seagulls and existential dread. Basically, her brain made an executive decision in under a second, and her bank account paid the tax on that laziness for the rest of her life. Number 3. The guy who bought everyone cars. Imagine winning big and deciding the responsible move is buying luxury vehicles for basically anyone who asks nicely. One lottery winner did just that, handing out cars to family, friends, and reportedly a few people he'd met only briefly, like generosity was a competitive sport he desperately needed to win. Within a couple years, the fortune had evaporated into a fleet of vehicles depreciating faster than his bank balance. This is a classic case of social pressure hijacking rational thought, something psychologists call generosity signaling, where sudden wealth turns you into a walking ATM because saying no feels socially unbearable. Your brain is wired for tribal approval. Being liked once kept you alive in a group, so overspending to maintain that approval feels biologically urgent even when it's financially suicidal. Combine that with the warm dopamine rush of being everyone's favorite person, and boundaries basically dissolve. Every yes feels good in the moment, like a tiny hit of social validation, but it's really just slow-motion bankruptcy dressed up as kindness. Basically, he turned a jackpot into a used car lot and himself into everyone's favorite disappearing act. Number 2. The man who kept playing the same losing job. You'd think winning millions means quitting your job on the spot, maybe with a dramatic mic drop on the way out. Instead, one winner kept working his same minimum wage job for weeks, telling absolutely no one, apparently convinced the check might somehow evaporate if he acknowledged it out loud. He clocked in, scanned groceries, and went home to a bank account fatter than his entire town's combined savings, saying nothing the whole time. This is your brain's threat detection system, misfiring in a bizarre way, a phenomenon researchers link to identity inertia, where your sense of self clings to routine, even when the routine no longer makes sense. Humans are creatures of habit so intense that we'll maintain a familiar grind, even when logic offers a golden exit ramp. Sudden, massive change triggers the same anxiety circuits as danger, so your brain quietly whispers, just keep scanning barcodes, it's safer here. It's comfort food for your identity. Except the comfort food is a part-time job you're financially allowed to torch. Basically, his brain treated a jackpot like an emotional trust issue, and routine won the argument for way longer than it should have. Number 1. The couple who told no one and regretted it. Imagine winning a fortune and deciding total secrecy is the safest route, so you tell literally nobody, not even close family, for years. One couple did exactly this, quietly living almost the same modest lifestyle while sitting on a fortune, convinced that silence was a genius long-term strategy. Eventually, the secrecy cracked, relationships got weird, and years of unnecessary financial stress happened purely because they refused to loop anyone in, including professionals who could have helped them manage it properly. This connects to a psychological effect called threat hypervigilance, where fear of losing something valuable makes people overcorrect into paranoid secrecy, treating good news like classified government intel. Your brain doesn't distinguish well between protecting money and protecting yourself from a predator, so it just floods you with the same defensive instincts either way. The result is exhausting. Constant internal stress, missed opportunities for smart investment advice, and strange tension in relationships built on omission. Basically, they treated a golden opportunity like a hostage situation, and their own paranoia became the getaway car nobody needed. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.